Join us around the pit as we talk all things barbecue. Now here is your host, Johnny Maggs.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Life Barbecue Podcast. Podcast where we talk everything barbecue and a lot of other topics that you normally talk around the pit. Coming to you live from the Uncle Steve's Shake Studios in Center Bonstead, New Hampshire. You know what we say. It's 8 o'clock Monday night. You can't start the barbecue week unless you start on Monday. So let's go. Let's see. I know Bat was number one in, followed by Tom. What's happening, Daddy Dutch? What's going on? Yeah. See, boys, this is what I told you. I'm just going to throw it right there. I'm getting plenty of top of the hour notifications, but here we sit waiting. I told you, get that going in. Mag's defense, he's had a rough week. Absolutely, Dutch. Thank you, brother. He's probably still hungover from Mother's Day. Yeah, you can say I got a bit of a hangover, but thank you guys for tuning in. We got a hell of a show. I'm so excited for this. I actually needed these guys on, so the scheduling wound up some miraculous way working out perfect to drag my fat ass up a little bit. But let's get going. Tonight's episode brought to you by Uncle Steve's Shake. Man, what can I say? Uncle Steve, incredible guy, shirt off the back guy. 18 amazing flavors, including the sauce with no name. The original, the sweet and spicier Gator Shake, the competition line, the magic ribs, the Mi Amigo, the sweet dessert shake. He's got it all. Coming at you out of Houston, Texas. And he wears all the hats. He's mixing the shake. He's bottling, labeling, shipping, taking orders, everything. If you have a question, call the number. He's answering the phone. Send an email. He's responding. He has been known to call you if he has a question about your order. He wants everything to be perfect. Always uses the freshest ingredients. If you place an order, your order of shake is being mixed within the day or two of you placing that order. It's never sitting on the shelves for any amount of time. He's hell-bent on getting you the freshest seasoning out there. Check him out at UncleStevesShake.com and follow along on Facebook at Uncle Steve Shake Nation. Uncle Steve Shake. Shake some on everything. Also brought to you by Joe's Meat Market, the diamond of Roy City, Texas. Gabriel and his crew do an incredible job. The protein selection is incredible. If you're looking for a specific cut, thickness, Gabriel got you covered. If you're looking for a protein Gabriel might not carry, he'll work with you to get it in. He wants your barbecue experience and grilling experience to be perfect. Produce brought in fresh daily. For all us comp and backyard guys, he's got us covered too. Multiple lines of rubs, seasoning, sauces, marinades, injections, including his new Joe's Meat Market house line. Smoky wood products, splits, chips, chunks, pellets. He's got it all. And while you're there, are you feeling a little hungry? He got you covered too. Gabriel's mom's behind the counter whipping up some of the freshest, authentic Mexican cuisine out there. Grab a plate, have a seat, sit down with the boys, make a new lifetime friend, talking about what we do. That's Joe's Meat Market in Roy City, Texas. Tell them I sent you. Joe's Meat Market for the win. Also brought to you by the Champions Barbecue Alliance. Big Dog Sauce Company and Matt's Backyard Barbecue present the New England CBA Triple Crown in New England together for an ultimate barbecue showdown, a 3-state high-stakes competition across Vermont, Rhode Island, and New Hampshire. Do you have what it takes to dominate the Champions Barbecue Alliance's 4-meat competition? Chicken, ribs, pork, and brisket, and claim the Triple Crown? How about showing your skills in some epic jackpots, including dessert, chef's choice, sausage, and steak? Calling all young pit masters, the Kids Q jackpots give the next generation of barbecue legends a chance to show off their skills. Join the fiercest pit masters as they fire up the smokers, lay down the rubs, and showcase their best. 3 states, 3 epic showdowns, 1 champion. These sponsors are bringing the heat with prizes including a guaranteed $10,000 payout for the Vermont competition and some unique trophies. Whether you're competing or coming to judge the feast, don't miss this barbecue lover's paradise. All right. Let's see. Super secret new trial shake. He's loving it. It's a revamp there, buddy. But yes, I can't wait to get mine. Judge Webb, what's up? NBL, what's happening? Tim Rogers, up to barbecue. What's happening, brother? All right, guys, let's get into it. I am excited. Oh, man. Let me see. I discovered these guys within 2 to 3 years ago. Searching podcasts, because we all know I'm a mailman, so I'm stuck in my head all day long. So podcasts are the way I get through everything. So I got a whole list, and these guys quickly became a must listen every week for me. So I am so happy to be joined by these 3 guys. You might know them. We got James, Jan, and John, and the producer extraordinaire, Raul. The boys from Grab 'em in the Brisket, a Texas barbecue podcast. What's up, boys? Cheers.
Cheers, Johnny. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, listen.
We're hanging in, brother.
Cans up, baby. Just cans up.
Hands up, brother. Oh, already the phone is going nuts. Daddy Dutch. Let's see. Don't ignore me. Love you, fucker. I love you too, Dutch. Love you too, brother. So guys, first off, thank you for taking the time. I wanted to get you guys on for a while, and I know I've tried a couple times with messaging John anyway while I was down at the Houston Livestock. And I think there was a time, James, we actually did cross paths. Not this past Houston. I was unable to go, but the year before, I was getting carted off to do, I had the opportunity to talk with Robert Sierra.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do a hell of a lot of these. So my buddy, Big Rome, was literally dragging me by. And as I went by, I looked, and I could swear to Christ, I saw you. He was in the International Village by the stage.
Yeah, that's usually where I reside. So more than likely, yeah, I was there. I volunteer for the Houston Livestock Show rodeo.
You don't say.
So, it's all for the kids.
I'm glad we're doing this now. Glad we got it out of the way.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Covered that. Anyway.
Yeah,
Nice. So, hey, Patrick Cullen, what's up? Chef Johnny, what's happening? All right, boys. Let's get a little introduction for you all. I'm going to start with James and Jan because genetically, the story is probably going to be pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Being twin brothers and all. Oh, by the way, happy belated birthday.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I saw you guys were celebrating on the golf course.
We did. Yeah.
Who cheated the least?
You know what? Listen, there was a lot of cheating going around. I'm not going to lie to you. But I think to me, being an avid golfer and then having James not be an avid golfer, there are a lot of times I just picked my ball up just to watch him play. It was awesome. He did so good. Hey, listen, number 18, he drains this 18-foot putt like it's butter, right? And like this he doesn't play golf all the time, like once a year, once every 2 years, but he drains this putt, and I'm like, dude, that was a nasty putt. It was a good job.
I think I just needed that 8th beer. I think that's
Yeah,
probably
what
what really dialed in my golf skills, was having that extra, and probably maybe a couple of those fireball shots that really got it going. So I was really hoping I'd had another like 18 holes. I think I probably would
Let's
have
play 36.
broke the course record.
Right.
Nice. Chef Johnny is already yelling at me. Watch my language. I have 2 ladies watching with me tonight. Okay, so first off, sorry, Miss Libby. And then you got me confused on the second lady there, Chef. Then, our friend Rob Dopp, what's up, brother? My peeps, what's up, fellas? Big D, what's up, Dave? What's happening? So, James and Jan,
Yes.
tell us a little about yourselves and how you guys got into barbecue.
Yeah, you want to take that out?
Yeah, I mean,
Jan kind of got me introduced into barbecue.
I think for us, originally it was our family. You know, my uncle built barbecue pits, and he sold those across Texas. Amazing craftsman, and built some phenomenal barbecue pits. And then my mom and dad were avid cooks, and owned restaurants, and had got into the competition scene a little bit. And my mom just kind of took a different, you know, she was kind of the girl that just went into it, you know. And watching her kind of compete coming up a little bit, we were young, we were probably, you know, 15, 16, 17 years old right there. And it was a point, was like, well, I mean, we're old enough to compete now. I mean, we've hung out with this crowd and these groups for a long time. And back then it was kind of like there were a lot of the sanctioning bodies were out there, of course. But in our area, it was a lot more of the barbecue crowd. I'm sorry, the bar crowd, right? So a lot of bar cook-offs. You saw that a lot in our area, and like every bar in this area would have a cook-off coming up this weekend or next weekend or whatever, right? So usually during the summertime, and you know, she would make 2 or 3 of them, and she would do really well. And there's some recipes that we still kind of hold together, and obviously we've kind of played on it and added to it and taken away from it. But those are some of the foundations that we got from barbecue, was hanging out and honestly probably being subjected to an older crowd at an early age. And it never seemed like it was too big for us, you know, to go and compete and go and hang out and whatever. So that's kind of the origin there. And then I started competing in my early 20s. My uncle built my pit, and it was, I mean, maybe a week into it, and I was like, James, I need help. Let's do this. And so we paired up, and back then we were called the Double J Cookers. And so we competed and in this local Gulf Coast area, and did well. And then we started, you know, it's funny enough, back then we didn't cook all the categories. We didn't know how to. We just cooked brisket. That was it. And every week, you know, we would go to the cook-off, and they'd say, hey, y'all going to cook a different category? And we're like, no, we're just going to cook brisket. When it first started, I didn't know you could cook multiple categories. I just thought you had to pick one in the very beginning. And then I was like, oh shit, you can actually pick multiple of these things. So, and then James and I joined up, and James goes, you know, I think I'm going to cook ribs this weekend. I said, let's do it, man. And he comes off with a first place out of like, I don't know, 45, 50 teams. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, you just hit first place on these ribs. And he's like, that's crazy, right? We had no idea. Listen, we were so novice back then. It was unreal. And then the next time we went out, James hit first place again. And the next time we went out, he hit it again. And it was like, what's the hell is going on? What are you doing right now that nobody else is doing in this area? And then, you know, for James did a lot of research. He was looking all over the nation, not looking what's going on in our area. And so he brought a lot of those KCBS and a lot of those flavors that were already happening back then back here, and it just took off.
Yeah, I got a lot of like your cheating vibes from everybody. Like they're like, this guy is like, what is he doing? And this is before people were trying to shake what your recipes were, and I wouldn't really like hold anything secret because I would have everything just laying out as I did this. But I caught on very early that sweet wins.
Yeah,
and everybody was throwing down ribs that were just kind of like the savory ribs, and I was like, okay, well, let me just whip up a barbecue sauce that tasted like candy. And man, I started slathering that on there, and it just winning every, and you know, kind of went to my head a little bit. No, but it never did. But
it did.
I was like, I just cannot lose. And then once I said that, I got second, and I was like, God bless.
Yeah, no, that's it. You think about it, this is like 25 years ago, where in our area, Texas, even ICBA, if you look at all the different sanctioning bodies in this area, they weren't cooking. They were not cooking those ribs like that. It was, they had some brown sugar they were adding and whatever else, but it didn't taste like that. And it didn't matter what cook-off we went to. It was just we knew those ribs were going to be a top 3 or top 2, no matter what. And I was like, maybe we don't even cook brisket anymore. Like I was like, brisket's expensive. Let's cook some ribs, you know? So yeah.
That's kind of where it started for us.
Nice. And there's Chef Johnny. I have cooked against y'all before when you had the old name. Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, John. Same question.
Well, my story's not nearly as exciting. I just happened to move on to the right cul-de-sac. I moved in across the street from James and saw that big ass barbecue pit across the street. And was like, I think I could do that. And my wife bought me a Traeger off the old QVC. And I was like, I'll show these boys how it's done. I made a brisket. Had James come over and try it. He was like, "That's pretty tough, John. It's pretty dry." And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? And then next thing you know, I was out there every weekend with him, just picking up the tips and the tricks and trying to learn as much as I could, and got obsessed. Yeah. And now we got all the barbecues.
No, you're right though. But John, I would say right now, so we progressed as a team, and we've been on other teams. Chasing More Smoke was a big team that we were on, and they've gone on to do many great things and whatever else. But there was one thing that John came into it with a little sense of more of hey, you don't have to go so hard on a Friday night, right? Just keep it chill on a Friday night. And so John kind of set the standard a little bit. He said, "Hey, listen, I'll come out, I'll set up with you guys on a Friday night. We'll hang out, we'll do our thing. I'm not drinking." And then James is like, "Oh, it's probably a good idea. I'll do that as well." So these two jokers are like, all of a sudden boycotted beer. And I was like, what's going on? Do we not drink anymore? Are we Amish, or I don't know, did we change? What's happening? Right. And they're like, "No, listen, we can drink. We're not going to drink till Saturday after we turn everything in. Let's go do things we're supposed to do. Let's just do what we can do. And let's not get too, outside of our box here." And, I'll tell you, the first time they did that, I was like, lazy losers. There's no way. I'm going to hang out. I'm going to have all the fun I can have. And then I'm going to do the best thing I can do the next day. Well, guess what? The next day, you don't wake up on time. The next day, you don't perform as well. The next day, you're hungover, you're dehydrated. There's all these things that came into play. And we're like, it didn't take very many cook-offs to where I go, okay, obviously you're right. Okay. And that's when our barbecue game changed right there. When it came to really competing, really doing well, it was like, listen, you can't, it's fun to hang out. You want to throw a party? Come to my house. We'll have a party. But when we're competing, competition's competition, and we're here to win. And that's how we treated it ever since. Mm-hmm. And our scores went up tremendously. So I'll tell you right now, John, you were the anchor that really kind of solidified like how we started moving in the ranks and everything else. You were the guy.
Well, competing is it's expensive. I felt like, we're going to come out here and spend $1,000 or $2,000. Let's at least try to do our best.
Yeah. Right.
We can still have a couple of beers Friday night or whatever, but like you said, if you drink too much Friday night, you're not getting up at 3 or 4 in the morning on Saturday. It's just not going to happen. I went to the first few and we would be having a freaking blast Friday night. And then come Saturday morning, everybody's scrambling around 7:30, 8 o'clock, trying to get the pit lit and everything else. And me and James had the conversation like, hey, look, we should probably at least put out the effort if we're going to pay to do this thing.
Yeah.
For sure. Greg Pino, what's happening? Chef, true statement. We treated cook-offs like a business. Drinking came after turn in. Yep, absolutely. All right, so John, you landed in the right neighborhood, and you became the anchor, as Jan was saying, in a Texas barbecue team. Explain to me something, boys.
Yeah.
How does a boy from California?
Why we got to bring that into it, man? Come on, man.
But he looks perfectly normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come in and become the anchor of a Texas barbecue team.
Johnny, we couldn't see it. We couldn't tell. We didn't know. He looked completely normal. It wasn't until months and months later that he actually divulged the information that he was from a different state. And that was like, well, at least not California. He was like, bet. Yeah.
We had to have a tribunal and see if we're going to allow him to continue to stay on. But
it was tough.
John had to earn his stripes to a certain extent. And I'll tell you this, once he got here, he just dove right into the Texas culture and just immersed himself in the music and just being the typical Texan, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He grows blue bonnets in his front yard, which is weird. No, I will tell you what John did. John came in and he has the work ethic that he just said, I will outwork you. I will wake up earlier than you are. I will do. And he never said no. Right. And are you kidding me? Like, that's not I don't care where you're from. You do that. You're family. You're here, right? So
there's still one thing that we still kind of draw the line at.
Yeah, there is.
That is In-N-Out versus Whataburger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's not In-N-Out. Let's tell you right now.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we got the trifecta here because I'm throwing my standalone Five Guys in there.
Okay.
Five Guys is good.
Yeah.
You gotta refinance your house to afford to get a meal there.
Right.
Dude, no shit. I went. It was sometime last year. I'm afraid to go back.
Yeah.
But I was out with my wife and we stopped in. We got two double cheeseburgers. I want to say 2 fries, nothing to drink, and it was $50.
$50.
Crazy.
Look here. I don't need a bushel of French fries. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just give me a sack, just a small thing of French fries and a burger. You can save potatoes.
I just want 3 fries if my meal is going to be $15. Right. That's all I want to know. Right. Yeah. I don't need all of that.
Yeah. My son does is on a robotics team at his high school, and they had a competition down in southern New Hampshire one weekend, and on the way back, they always stop at Five Guys for dinner before they head back to the school. And so, we gave him, whatever it was, thankfully, I think we gave him like $30-$40. He had a grilled cheese sandwich, a fry, and a drink, and it was $25.
Oh, geez.
I would walk in there and stick my boot halfway up someone's ass for $25 for a grilled cheese is the main part of this. Come on,
cheese. That's not right. That's not
right. Like shit.
That's not right.
Daddy Dutch, that is blasphemy.
Yeah,
McDonald's over In-N-Out.
Try to get Daddy Dutch on the show, but I think I just changed my mind. That's probably not what happened.
Oh, no, it's all right. I'm going to tell you how that interview will go. I'm the minor leagues.
Right now, they don't know. So what was the thing you got at In-N-Out where you tried to get something and they totally,
chili cheese fries?
Oh, no. I go in and I'm like, my first time in, I go in, I was like, let me just get the burger, right? See what it's all about. So order the burger and I'm like, hey, can I get a large fry? And they're like, yeah. I said, hey, can I get a hey, y'all like, I said, can I do a chili cheese fries? And she goes, yeah, no problem. And I'm looking at her, but she's looking at somebody else to ask them how to like press it in. I'm like, oh, she didn't know the buttons. No big deal. No. What they have is, first of all, the fries stink, right? They're the worst fries you can get because they're cooked in some avocado oil, or they're cooked in some they're not good. Okay, whatever. Okay, take that apart. They put this cheese on there that it's like a melted cheese that gets hard. So it's not like a soft cheese. Like I could pick up 2 fries and pick the whole bunch up. That's not good. Second of all, they don't have chili. They had chilies. Well, those are peppers. So I got yellow peppers on top of cold cheese on top of these cardboard fries. Like I literally tried to eat it. I was like, I can't eat this. This is not like the chili pepper was better than the cheese and the fries. And those were what do you call it? They're
like banana peppers.
Yeah, they're kind of like little chili peppers,
ones,
right?
Yeah.
I'm like, and I saw to go back up and I go, hey, listen, I said chili cheese fries. She goes, yeah, those are chilies. And I go, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I can't even argue. I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah, but you were out of there for like $8. It's fine.
Yeah, no. Well, let's be real. No.
Oh shit, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah. The Great Burger debate is always fantastic. It's always fantastic. So guys, actually tell me, before we get into the podcast, tell me about your smoker, because she is gorgeous. It's this beautiful, guys. If you haven't seen it on the social medias, you had to have. It is gorgeous. You got a double barrel, beautiful red. What sizes are we talking about? Because you got a tank on either side.
Yep. That's Johnny and June. That's built by Austin Smokeworks. So it's a 500-gallon on one side, a 250-gallon on the other side. The way they built it, it looks like one big firebox kind of in the back, just a big fat ass on that thing. But it's 2 separate fireboxes, and
you're right,
it's freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
It's double-walled, insulated fireboxes. You can literally sit on the fire in the middle of the night. You could have a fire in there where it's roaring at, let's say the chamber's at 250, 275 degrees. You're trying to burn hot on June. June is a smaller one, so she's 250 gallons. And that's the one that if you want to kind of go hot with, you can definitely do it. With Johnny, you can't cook that hot with it. Johnny will run the way Johnny wants to run. And he likes 235. He likes 225. That's his temperature. And if you make him angry, he's going to make you pay. He's going to make sure that your fire is going to go out. He's going to make sure it doesn't draw as well. He's going to make sure that your cook time goes 2 hours longer. So don't mess with him, right? Just let him cook the way he wants to cook. But in the middle of the night, when this fire is roaring, you can literally set your beer on top of the firebox. You can sit on the firebox, and it's warm. I mean, you feel like you got a warm temperature coming up, but it's not hot. It's not like during the daytime, the sunlight will actually give you more temperature on top of that firebox than you will have radiating up.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's that's just like my backline. My wife had ordered me one, happy birthday to me a couple years back, from Backline Ryan Newland down in Austin.
Oh yeah.
And same deal. He's got, and with him, he said he had so much insulation on the firebox, so she'd be able to cook up here. He literally had to have a kid that helps him a couple days a week sit on top of the firebox as he was stuffing the insulation in with crowbars.
Yeah.
So he could tack it well, because he couldn't get it down by himself.
Yeah.
That there's so much insulation there.
That's
because I'll run it out here at 0, and she'll sit there and want to run at 300 all day long.
Yeah.
In 0 degrees. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. But okay, but here's what I said with the chats going. So we're talking great debate. So I was just waiting for this one to come up. Let's get serious. Beans or no beans? Chili.
Damn. Look, I mean, for if you're a Texas chili, okay, you can't have beans. But I like beans. All right. I'm a bean guy. I like that in my chili. But I'm not like a baked bean. I don't want a bunch of different beans in my chili. I'm very particular of what I want.
What beans you want?
So for me, I like the pinto bean in the chili.
No kidney bean.
My wife likes kidney
I
beans.
do too.
And I don't like kidney beans in the chili. It changes the texture. It's too much. I want subtle. And then if you were to ask James, he would say,
I would say no beans in chili, but that's my personal preference. But I think, look, I mean, do what you want to do, right? If you want to put beans in it, or I don't particularly care for it, so I'm not going to put it in it. But I know a lot of people give us kind of shit or give me shit about it. It's like, oh, this is just like meat sauce. Like, what is this, like spaghetti? It's like Cincinnati spaghetti. Why don't you put some freaking noodles in there?
yeah.
And I'm like, no, it's just the way I prefer it. I don't want beans in it. I don't want fillers in there. I want nice, high quality beef with chili, the spices and everything, the veggies. I'll put some finely diced jalapenos, onions, some bell pepper in there. But yeah, I draw the line at beans. Why not just put rice in there? You know what I'm saying? If you want the fillers in there, then just put rice and beans and mix it all together, and then
sounds good to me.
You're all great.
Yeah, I like rice. I like beans. But I will say the difference, like some of the differences that you see in Texas chili, and it's not like every chili out there. Like it's all about the meat. What meat you're putting in there, what style of meat or what kind of meats. And for us, we look at the grinds, and we'll probably put 5 or 6 different grinds or types of meat into our chili. So we might have a brisket. We might have some breakfast sausage. We might have some ground meat. We might have a chili grind. We might do a New York strip. But there's a texture in there that we're looking for in all of the chili, that it's not just some meat, some ground meat soup. But that's not chili to me. And whatever, right? Yeah, it may taste like it, but I look for all of that. And I think when you put all of that in there, does it need a bean? No, it does not. I think a chili will speak for itself, personally. And that's why Texas chili has been Texas chili for so long. And it's made a name for itself, because
the number one chili in the world.
Right.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, James. Damn, James. James just threw it out there. All
That's
right.
it.
Okay.
Corby Simpkins, what's up, brother? Doodle Cube Competition Barbecue. Thanks for tuning in, my man. But the chat is going now with the beans.
Yeah. Your boy Paul says, I sub celery and bell pepper. Dude, yes. I mean, that's
absolutely
ooze, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And Chef Johnny, and this is his go-to. Once you add beans, you don't have chili. You have chili with beans.
That's right, Chef.
Correct. Correct.
Call it whatever you want, but it's still delicious.
Hey, here's to you, Chef.
Nancy Reagan said it best. Just say no. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, where the hell did it go? There it is. But we had a question earlier, and I was waiting till we got there from my friend Tim Rogers up in the beautiful state of Vermont, up to barbecue. And this will be a great segue into the podcast. Did the pod name come from the Humpty Dance?
Yes.
100%.
It did.
100% accurate.
Yeah, that's right. Digital Underground.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everybody thinks it's political. This is a 80s song where,
just grab them in the biscuit.
Yeah, that's
and we had a funny story. We when we started the podcast, we just like a little whim in our garage as we're like several beers deep, like, man, we should start a podcast because we love talking about barbecue, and I'm pretty sure everybody out there would want to hear us talking about barbecue.
Yeah, right.
Because we're funny like that. And then so John, as John does, he's like, yes, let's go. I think the next weekend we had podcast equipment and we're raring to go. And then we're like, all right, we got it. We got a concept. Now we need to come up with a name. We need to come up with a logo. And so we're like, we kicked around names. One name that it was going to be, this is our final, like down to whatever. And it was Lost in the Sauce Barbecue Podcast. And then we Googled it. It looked like it was trademarked and there was already a podcast out there.
There's somebody doing it already.
But it wasn't barbecue. It was like, I don't know. I think it's like whiskey or something like that. And I was like, God dang it. Now we can't do that. We don't want to bust on somebody's, copyrighted infringement type stuff.
Which we did anyway.
We did it. Yeah. And so then we're like, we kicked around and then we like grabbed on the brisket. And it was one of the deals where we kind of like, damn, are some people going to take this the wrong way? Like it's the, very just like demeaning to women, just grab them in the brisket, like the whole Trump thing, where you just grab them in the, what.
The hoo-ha.
Yeah, I don't know.
They knew what it was.
We can't do it. We can't do it. Then we're like, fuck it, send it. Let's go. And then grabbing the brisket.
Yeah. Nice. It's funny because my story is very similar to that. There was a garage, there was a smoker, and there was a lot of alcohol involved. Mm-hmm. And there was a new invention out there called Facebook Live, which we didn't know we were on at the time until Monday morning. I walked into work and a bunch of the guys go, "What was that redneck bullshit? What the hell are you talking about?" They bring it up because I was tagged and whoever had it live. And I'm like, huh. They're like, I don't know what the hell you were talking about, but it was fucking entertaining. I'm like, okay, maybe we're onto something.
Yeah.
And went rolling. So very, very similar story, But so you guys obviously had been hanging out for a while and literally just both feet in. Yep. Let's do this and see what the hell goes.
Never looked back.
And that was when?
2019.
Okay.
Yeah,
July, August
COVID,
2019.
So, and that was something else. COVID was a big reason, which I've heard a lot of these stories before, but COVID was a big reason that helped us because we really couldn't go out. We couldn't compete anywhere. We couldn't go places to whatever, but we were all kind of lived in the same neighborhood. So, everybody's working from home and we could just kind of like, all right, let's just hang out a little bit. And that's kind of how this whole thing spawned together. It was like, all right, well, we can't compete. We can't go here. Let's just talk about it, and it worked out.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. Because like I said, I had found you about 2 or 3 years ago. So I was a little late to the game. I apologize, but I listened to the first couple at that time that were out. I'm like, oh, this is fun. This is great, dude. So I literally went back and started at the beginning.
Oh man!
And rolled all the way up, And then now you guys are doing the live show every Thursday, 8:00 Eastern, 7 Central.
Yep.
On Facebook and YouTube, and that's awesome. And I loved that because I'll watch it, then I'll go back, and when you guys upload it on the audio, I'll listen to it again. Because now you guys give me something to do on Thursday nights. I'm busy on Monday nights. Tuesday nights, I got Greg Rempe and Bill Purvis.
Yep.
And Wednesday nights, I got Rob Arosha, Slow Smoking Gooder Show. And now Thursday nights, I got you. I need another guy to come out on a Friday.
Yeah.
But no, Friday's tough because Friday is loading day for the comps.
Yep.
So we're a little busy on Fridays. But no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Now, were you guys going at the very beginning strictly barbecue, competition style, backyard style? Because right now, if you were to just tune into the latest episodes, you have quite a spectrum of it. You throw a little of the comp, little of the backyard, what you've been cooking lately, the guest of who you have on that week.
Yep.
The world famous. Can we pull this off on a count of 3?
Yeah, go ahead.
1, 2, 3. The grab 'em in the brisket.
Beer.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, but you guys do that, which is original.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love it. But, you know, was that right on, you know, the plan out the gate, or were you going to be like more straight laced, strictly this, then started branching off to the to what you guys are now,
Yeah.
which is extremely well balanced.
I think we started off. We had an idea and a concept of. So we like yourselves. We listen to a lot of barbecue podcasts, and there's a lot of great ones out there, including your show. But we were like, we need to find our niche. We need to find what fits us, and we're like, okay, so we need to be. I think we come at the odd. We want to provide facts. We want to be educational but entertaining at the same time, because you're trying to produce and create a show that you're trying to capture people's attentions, because let's face it, nowadays people, like, if you can't get them within the first like 10-15 seconds, and they're hitting the skip button and they're going. But and we're kind of like the same way, but we wanted to focus on showing who we were, putting ourselves out there, so people can go out there and like, okay, I know these guys, I can relate to these guys and the stories that they're telling. And a lot of the stupid stuff that we do on the weekends, whether we're barbecuing and knocking back a beer and having a great time, there's always a funny story that comes about. So it was something that we can put out there, and I think ultimately it was just to get the people to relate to us and be a part of this whole thing that we're creating, because it's a much about them than it is about us. I mean, this thing that we're trying to create.
Yeah, I agree with you, James. But it wasn't like, if you go back to the very beginning, there wasn't a really the only plan we had at that time was try to relate to the backyard cooker. Right. So I think we recognized really early that is who we are.
It's the biggest audience too.
Yeah, but that's who we are, though. You know, I mean, even though we're comp cookers, and even though whatever else, we are ultimately backyard cookers or front yard cookers, because I honestly love cooking in the front yard versus the backyard. I love the fact that I can watch my neighbors come home and I can watch them drive through, and I can have a smoker outside and watch them go, "Oh my God, this guy again. What's going on? It smells so great." You see I see my own kids playing outside. I see them playing with their friends.
That's how you met me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This is how you get a community together. Like, cooking in the backyard is great, right? But you're surrounded by 4 fences or 3 fences or whatever it is, right? But you're surrounded. Cooking in the front yard is so much more open. And yeah, maybe it doesn't look as great, it doesn't look as whatever, but I picture that there's that picture of a 1950s, and you have the picket fence, and you have the guy in the front yard, and he's got the Weber out there. That in my mind, and he's got a few buddies standing around. That is the backyard cooking right there. And that's kind of what we tried to, in the very beginning, was to come up with, was like, yeah, we're shenanigans, and we're fun, and we're idiots, and we're dumb, whatever else. But we're all of that, but we're just like anything else. And we try and we fail. And that was probably the biggest thing, was showing our fails. Like, how much do we really fail? There's so many meals that we have burnt and had to feed it to our families. I feel bad for them. I feel bad for the people that have eaten this horrible food that have come off this cooker. But we've gotten better over the years. And nowadays, I mean, our families are like, oh my God, like my daughter comes home, is like, my dad can make that. That's fine. Hey, I'll tell my dad to make that. Boom. And I'm like, you know what? I can make that, so but I think that's how it kind of, like, we weren't trying to be anything. We wanted to be the backyard cooker for us.
Absolutely. And Tim Rogers is saying he loves your brisket grades on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Those are awesome. Those are awesome. Chef Johnny, there's a lot more backyard cookers than comp cookers. Factual. Big Dave saying, as soon as I open my smoker, my neighbor's pit bull runs through the woods and sits down right in front of the smoker. Right?
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Rob, thank you so much about that one. Because there's a nice little story behind that. Why ain't it popping up? There it is. The barbecue fails are awesome. We all have them. And for anybody who doesn't know, the barbecue fails is a segment of the show every week where you can call in, give your barbecue win or barbecue fails, and it's awesome. You've teamed up with Suckle Busters for that particular segment, and like I said, you call in. Hey, it was a successful thing. I absolutely fucked everything up. Sorry, Miss Libby. Apologize. I forgot. And but those are great. And it was funny because I had texted John when I listened to it the other couple weeks back. There was a guy who called in with a barbecue fail that he was at the Jack, and it was the chef's choice or open division, whatever they call it, with that he lost to a guy who cooked chili dogs.
Yeah.
I damn near fell out of my mail truck. I was laughing so hard because my friend Billy Gillespie from Smoking Hogs Barbecue out of the South Shore of Massachusetts, Abington, Massachusetts, he was the one who won the Jack with the chili dogs.
Dude.
So it was such a small world that this guy's fail, and I knew the guy who beat him. And I sent John the pictures of the chili dogs, the whole 9 yards. Because it was freaking hilarious.
That's funny.
But Smoking Hogs, absolutely. Billy's a fantastic guy, and like I said, John, y'all need to get Billy on sometime. You'll have a great time talking with him. Incredible guy.
The chili dogs or no beans?
Was there beans in the chili?
No beans. No. He did it correctly. Traditional, however. Actually, he just won. I forget which one. The what was it? The Rubs of Honor, or best rub in the world.
Okay.
BBQA.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. He goes, I just won the best one in the world. 10 years in the making. He's had his seasonings out for quite a while.
Yep.
Because I think he won the Jack in 2014 and the Royal in 2011. So he's been at the game quite a while. But yeah, it was just those little things in that segment that led to that, and I was just laughing my ass off. But you encourage your listeners, viewers, followers, to interact with the show, and and it's funny. Now with that particular segment, like I said, you had teamed up with Suckle Busters. Tell me about, and John, I think we're going to go with you on this one, the Chicks That Smoke rub. Tell me about that, because you guys are that's always the one you're bringing up every time.
Well, it's just this smoking hot blonde chick that's good at barbecue, makes great seasoning.
Okay.
This is my wife. Yeah. My wife, she does a lot.
Everybody's
of
like, where
stuff.
can we see pictures?
Actually, I'm posing all over social media right now. So she teamed up with Suckle Busters pretty early on, right around the same time I think that we did, and then next thing you know, we're teamed up with Suckle Busters, and we're dishing out their seasonings to anybody that sends in a win or a fail. But her seasoning is all-purpose seasoning. It's a little bit spicy, not anything over the top. And it's delicious on everything. I use it all the time. All the time.
Potatoes, wings, veggies. I mean, it's an
stellar.
AP. It's a great AP. I mean, if you're into the Tony Chachere's or into a Cajun rub, this is not a Cajun rub, but it definitely has a little bit of that heat that one would have, but it's very mild. It's not going to be spicy, even though it's called a spicy rub. But it's really good. It's really, really, really good.
If you want to try it, just send us a barbecue win or barbecue fail.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Camp House Adventures. Yo, Eric, what is up, brother? Get it. Let's throw some cans, brother. Oh, guys, are y'all hunters?
Yeah.
Go see my boy Eric here, Camp House Adventures at, I believe it's Thompson's Hunting Lodge down in Texas. Oh, man, does he have some stuff down there, boy.
Let's go.
Woo! Oh, thanks for tuning in, brother. It's been a long time.
I'm going to look you up, brother.
So, yeah, the Chicks That Smoke rub, there we go. Now, since you guys have started the show and it's grown and everything, does it blow your mind sometimes of what you guys have created? You know, from starting in the garage to, you know, building it slowly and building up followers and everything, and then starting to get involved with the different organizations and doing some traveling to the different events. Like I know you guys go down to the Shed every year for the Shed Showdown. I believe you guys are heading down to Memphis in May. You know, you guys do a lot of traveling on events. And obviously, James, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you volunteer at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo.
You don't do every year. I'm close to becoming a lifetime member. So there's that.
He's got 20 years left. Okay.
Man, yeah, it's been absolutely beautiful. And now you don't really, when I look at it and my point of view, my perspective, I'm kind of blown away a little bit to just a couple of guys in a garage. Now we have a nice podcast studio, and we have traveled all over this country, talking to people about barbecue and sampling barbecue and getting to see some of the you know, the stuff that I saw on social medias or in, you know, freaking wherever on the internet. Like now I'm actually there and I'm actually checking out some of that stuff, and I'm meeting some of the people that I've always kind of like held at a high regard.
Right.
And it absolutely just blows my mind the amount of the people that have come on the show, and you're like, John's like, hey, so-and-so's come on the show. And I'm like, do what?
Yeah. Every time we get a yes from a Myra Mixon or a Tuffy Stone or any of these names that, like you said, we've been watching on TV and all this stuff. Yeah. But it's mind blowing. It still seems unreal.
Yeah. I would never have thought we had been here. I would have thought that maybe we kind of screwed it up somewhere along the way.
We probably have.
But you know what? I realize there's a lot of people out there that are just like us. And so, yeah, it's awesome for us.
Another fan of the brisket reactions to people's brisket cooks from Eric there, you guys nail it with that. But yeah, I found the same thing. It blows my mind. You know, the first one, and which really blows my mind, was we had just started it back in August of 2018. And we might have been the second or third episode in, so literally 2 or 3 weeks in. And we got a message from this gentleman, Oli Sprague, saying he had found a podcast, loves what we're talking about, loves the difference than at the barbecue podcast that were out at that time.
Yeah.
And so we got chatting, and I'm like, yo, brother, where do you live? And I wish I could have seen my face when he said Queensland, Australia.
Yeah.
What? What? I got someone in Australia. I've been doing this for 3 weeks, not even a cup of coffee. And I got guys from Australia listening. It just blows my mind, and me and him are, very close. He's been on a few times and, very close to this day. But, the one thing is the friendships, the brotherhoods, the family that barbecue has given me just for starting the show and then, getting into the comp stuff. And like I said, Daddy Dutch, that man right there, he'll take a bullet for me.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee it. He might not like it. He might be a little pissed off about it, but he'll do it.
Yeah.
Chef Johnny.
Like a 22.
Yeah, you're going to have to pay hospital bills for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Chef Johnny, any question I'll ever have, I call Chef up. He's forgotten more barbecue than I'll ever know. Even Eric calling me at I'll post pictures at the comps of firing it up at 2:00 in the morning. Next thing you know, the phone's ringing and it's him. Don't fuck up the brisket. Oh, thanks, man. Hey, but it's those guys. To get a call on Thursday afternoon from Bill Purvis because he saw a post. Hey, how you doing, big guy?
Yeah.
Aaron Leslie calling you. Hey, you ready for Merry Christmas to you and the missus?
Yeah.
It's like you said, these guys you've looked up to and you followed. It's like now they're calling me. And like Uncle Steve and Gabriel. Yes, they help sponsor the show, but first and foremost, they're brothers.
Yeah.
Uncle Steve hosts us every year at his house when we come down for Houston. He opens the house up to us, just all giving. I would never have met you guys if it wasn't for getting into barbecue.
Yeah.
And,
likewise.
But and with the podcast thing, you get to know people. It's the craziest thing because as hosts, we got to throw ourselves out there.
Yeah.
And let people into this aspect, that aspect. And we've never physically met in our lives. But I'll guarantee if we did, big hugs and daps all around and like we've known each other for 50 years.
100%.
The funniest one is back in 22 when we drove down to Austin to pick up my smoker. My kids were asking, because Newland had thrown a big pit reveal party, and all my Texas boys at the time, they came up. They came up from San Antonio area, the Valley, down from Texas, and so there was 50 guys there, and they're like, Dad, what's your most exciting part going to be? I go, meeting my friends.
Yeah.
And they both looked at me and go, meeting your friends? I go, guys, I've never met them in person, only on the computer screen or on the phone.
Yeah.
That was it. So to actually get them and, hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with them, it was amazing. It's amazing. All from cooking meat in a parking lot or a backyard or wherever.
Just hanging out.
It's just gotten so many opportunities. Now, with that being said, have you guys found yourselves anywhere that people recognize you? Or at least start with the voice and they do the old double take, going, wait a minute, where do I know this from?
Right.
Yeah, I think we've all been stopped somewhere.
I know these two
I've
guys.
Been followed around a store a couple of times.
Raul.
And it's been several times. It was like like I'm getting stalked a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's like, hey, just come up and say hello. But I was at a grocery store, HEB, the best grocery store in the world, trademarked, not sponsored.
I agree.
I was checking out, and some lady comes up and taps me on the shoulder, and she's like, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" Yes, ma'am. Can I help you? I thought maybe she wanted to cut in front of me because I only had like about, I don't know, like 3 or 4 items, and I was like, "All right, you want to?" I'm like,
You would have let her.
"Yeah, I would have." And she's like, "Hey, are you that guy from grabbing the brisket?" And I'm like, I'm perplexed. I'm like, yes.
Chest puffs up a little bit.
How do you know? And she's like, she immediately turned her head. Her husband was cut. He was like in the wings here with the grocery basket. And she's like, it is him. And all of a sudden he comes up and she's like, she shakes my hand. He shakes my hand. She's like, they introduce themselves. And I was like, dude, very nice meeting you guys. This is super awesome. And this has all happened in the middle of a busy HEB checkout aisle. And as soon as they leave, I turn my head to the cashier and she just stared at me like, who is this guy?
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, no autographs, please.
Check me out, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Well, so, John, you got one?
Yeah, John's definitely been recognized.
Yeah. So I think it's happened to us a lot at like barbecue competitions from people we've never met, or like going to the Royal, we've been flagged down, like, hey, aren't you guys?
Yep.
That sort of thing, or even at Houston.
But out in the blue.
Once, at least once. And the one that comes to mind is at the Academy Sports and Outdoors. I was walking back there to go check out what they had in the barbecue section, and somebody just stopped me, and I was like, what does this guy want? Like, why are people talking to me? And he, same sort of thing. Like, hey, you do the grabbing the brisket, aren't you, John? I was like, hell yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Hey, got
buddy.
a little taller. I was
Hey,
like,
buddy.
Yeah. I'm John. What do you want, a picture? Or?
Yeah, you
Let's
immediately
be friends.
Yeah, you immediately run home to your family and just like, look, I'm
Gush. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
famous now.
don't know what to tell you this, guys, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah, and they quickly inform you that you are not a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
John, I think you got a pilot recognize you one time in the airport.
Oh yeah, that happened too. Yeah, I'm a stewardess, and I was standing on the plane, getting ready to change planes, and a pilot came in and goes, "Hey, you John?" I was like, I just assumed he saw my name on the paperwork, and I said, "Yeah, I'm John." He goes, "I'm grabbing the brisket." I was like, I just looked at him. I was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" He's like, "Man, I listen to your show every week." This pilot, and I was like, "It is the coolest damn thing that's ever happened to me right here."
John, do you think they're listening to podcasts as they're flying you?
Over 100% watching TV and listening to no, I don't think so. But I did end up flying with him later on, and he bought me dinner and drinks and everything else. I don't know. He might have been trying to take advantage of me, but
no, it was not
free food. So it was great.
He's a great dude.
No, he is a great dude.
Yeah.
He listens all the time.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah. But like you said, at the cook-offs, that's when I, really noticed it. It would be, a lot down at Houston.
Yeah.
And as most of all of us know, but if you don't, Houston Livestock, it's all private tents. You can go and stand in front of it. Unless you got a wristband, you can't go in.
Yeah.
So I'd literally be talking to someone walking opposite directions in traffic there and going in there, and it's like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it was great. All of a sudden, someone from the tent pops his head out, goes, hey, let him in. That's Johnny Mags.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, shit.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Let's do this, And it's like, hey, what's up? And, I met a bunch of new people that way. The absolute funniest, though, was it was a Sunday morning. I'm out here cooking, and my son is at the end of our driveway, and we have a little bench there that he likes to sit and play with his toys and stuff like this. This was a couple years ago. And a guy was coming up the hill walking his dog. And my son, he'll sit there and wave at everybody and hi. And he goes, oh, hi. And he came over and, can I pet your dog? Sure. And so my son's petting the dog. And then he stops and he's looking at the guy. Then he looks up the driveway. He looks at me. And then he looks around because he hears my voice.
Yeah.
But how can I hear my dad's voice here when he's way the fuck over there? Sorry, Miss Libby. The guy's listening to the podcast. He's got the phone in his breast pocket.
Man,
Oh, that's
that's
awesome.
cool.
He's listening to the podcast. So JJ's hearing my voice. He goes,
Yeah.
and the guy's like, "What's the matter?" I go, he goes, "But he's over there." And the guy's like, "Well, who's your dad?" He goes, "He's coming from your shirt."
Right.
And then the guy goes, "Oh, holy shit, that's you." I go, "Come on, come grab a bite."
Very-
You know,
That's
it's
funny.
just
Are you kidding
funny.
me?
You can't beat
Let's go, man.
It's just funny. All right, I got a question for someone that is not on screen. Raul, you with us?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
First off, brother, how's the princess?
Oh my goodness, man. She's 5 months now, and she's sleeping not very much.
Not very much. She's sleeping, but not very much.
Yeah, she's doing great. Thank you for asking.
Oh, good, brother. So, like I said, it's, you know, as far as I'm concerned, the producer of any show at a studio is part of the show. Like when I was down at the Studio 21, you know, at the beginning, Ed, he was part of the show. Young Ben was part of the show. Chrissy was part of the show. So you're the producer. You're also part of the Grab 'em in the Brisket podcast. How did you get involved with these fine fellows?
You know, after retiring from the military, I became a pimp, and after retiring from being a pimp and a failed OnlyFans, you know, they reached out to me. no, you know, COVID made me start a podcast, and the podcast studio came second, and it just we live in the same town.
Mm-hmm.
And I think John was getting tired of doing his own editing, and he reached out, and we've been happily a couple ever since.
Now, how difficult is it for you, the producer, to keep these boys in line?
Let me tell you, Johnny Max, we go live every Thursday at 7:00, and these boys walk in the door at 6:58 and wanna check cameras and oh my goodness,
Adjust lighting.
Yeah. It's crazy.
All right. So we're gonna spin this off of their barbecue win and barbecue fail. What would be the biggest barbecue fail as far as podcasting with them in your eyes?
Oh no, all the barbecue fails are my fault. I do messing up. Sometimes we have audio and you know, but other than it being my fault, the only person I can blame is Jan.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Well, you know why that is?
Yeah. Because
Because everybody knows, and anybody who follows the show, Jan's a bitch. Sorry, Miss Libby. Which that was going to be a question, and we'll get back to that when he gets back here. But
and there he is.
Yeah. Okay, I'm back.
And here we go. A host their own show. Hey, man, what can we do? Have your people call our people, and we'll do lunch.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
Let's go.
But we might be late, but we come through every time.
There it is.
So has there been a real nightmare of maybe a couple episodes and, you know, maybe a couple of the beer reviews were a little higher alcohol by volume and we got really off the rail?
I think they do a Christmas review where it's quite a bit of beers in hand, And I think I drove home that night.
You did drive us home this last verse. That is our funnest show. We try to get multiple guests lined up, and we usually review about, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 beers depending upon the year. And it's Christmas beers, so they're usually strong as shit.
Yeah, I had the honor of driving them home.
He's
Nice.
above and beyond with this guy.
Yeah.
Nice. So, Raul, you said you were in the military. What branch, sir?
Army, sir. Army. 10 years. Yes, sir.
First off, thank you for your service, brother. Everything you guys do.
I appreciate it.
So, you guys do what you do, so idiots like us can sit here and talk barbecue.
That's it.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You know, thank you. You know, and you, like I said, you do an incredible job, and you know, it's great talking with you in the chat back and forth during the show. And like I said, I definitely had to have you with a hot mic tonight because, like I said, as far as you're part of the crew, so you're part of this interview too. Now, do you do much barbecuing on your own?
You know what? I barely got the bug because of these guys. So I don't like to talk about it because I'm not any good. But I but I barely gotten the bug. Like I told them recently, I just bought a grill. They were like, "Well, why did you tell us?" I was like, "My bad."
Yeah, grill. I'm giving you one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. Oh, awesome. All right, Jan. Well, you stepped away for a minute. You know, we did have some poking little fun at you.
Oh,
But
perfect.
let's get the story and get the straight story. Why is Jan a bitch? Sorry, Miss Libby.
No, you know what I think it is? I think there's a bunch of haters out there that want to, honestly, you know what I think it is? I think that it's good, clean fun. And I love it, I've told these guys about it plenty of times. It's like, every time my name is mentioned, my head gets a little bit bigger, and I relish in it. I love the fact that somebody wants to talk some shit, wants to talk some smack, right? And I can dish it, but I can take it, and so it's that right there that I welcome it, and it's a forum to where if you want to say it, say it. If you want to say something, right, come at me, right? Listen, I mean, it's not like there's no maliciousness in this at all. There's not.
Yeah.
There's zero maliciousness. However, I will show up to your house and I will peel your firewood. Okay, that's what I'll do. You're gonna have the worst barbecue ever after you talk some smack to me. But that's good, clean fun, and it is what
absolutely.
it is.
Jan can 100% take it, and I think it really all started when we first got our hotline and we were trying to encourage people to call in and leave messages. And Jan and I, especially before, we rib each other all the time on the show, give each other shit about stuff. And he would give me shit, and at some point when we were announcing our hotline, I was like, "Hey, if you guys want to call in and leave a message, we want to share it on the show. Whatever you want to say. If you just want to call in and say Jan's a bitch, you can do that." And man, shit went.
Phone lines lit up, dude.
Up.
I was like,
I
dude.
started playing them on the show.
Yeah.
It went great.
Yeah.
And like I said, Jan can take it. Anytime he hears his name said, he's
Hey,
just like,
are you saying I'm popular? What's happening? Oh,
yeah. And all the people that do that
thinking about me.
they're the same ones that write in an email and say Jan's their spirit animal. It doesn't make any sense to me. So
Yeah.
Hey,
No,
cheers
because I could
animal.
absolutely cheers. But yeah, I remember hearing those calls, and oh man, I cooked the incredible brisket of my life. It was juicy, tender, great bark. It was fantastic. Thanks guys for listening. And oh, by the way, Jen's a bitch. It was always in there, the fun aspect of it. Yeah, I loved it. So, no end in sight, I'm assuming.
No, there's no end in sight. I think we're looking at who we are now. So it was a great question earlier about who we were then and like what our identity was at that point. And we look I look at it now, and our identities have changed over the years. But to be honest with you, that's one thing that I'm looking at, and I think James is looking at, and I'm not sure John can even count to 10
I don't look at anything.
to even think about looking at it yet. But yeah, it's something that it's like, who are we now, and who do we want to be, and what do we want to personify? And I think the one thing that I look at is like, we're not that serious. We want to be fun. We want to be relevant
Informative.
in what's going on. We want to come up with maybe a Florida a story that comes out of some crazy Florida man or woman cook some crazy stuff and burn her house down, or his house down. And then at the same time, we want to be informative when it comes to like really good barbecue. And it's like, how do you roll that into a show or whatever else? So I think the dynamic is probably still the same for us at some point. I think we're probably in myself, I'm way more conservative now than I ever have been in that. And no cussing, no really drinking on the show, no profanity, and showing up
And he's saying all of this with a straight face, folks, for listening.
Okay.
This is okay, fine. All right. We just want to drink beer and hang out with each other. And if we have a show that's good, then it's good, right? And if it sucks, then goddamn. I mean, look, next week we'll see you, and hopefully it's good. That's probably how we feel still today, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. As long as I've been asked that, how long, what are you thinking? I go, as long as I'm having fun doing it and people are willing to come on and talk about barbecue or talk about their products, talk about that, I'm going to do it. I don't care if there's 1 million people listening or if there's one. I don't care if I'm the only one listening.
Yeah.
As long as I'm having fun with it, I'll do it. And you guys know, you've been doing it long enough. There's days that you just don't feel like doing it. It's like, oh, I got to do a show tonight. But you get there, you start, and you're like, oh, yeah, I get to do a show tonight.
Yeah, I like
you just run down and it gives you that little bit of oomph, little pep back in the step, and you're back into the swing of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, once it starts feeling like work, that's when I'd say I'm going to call it quits.
I totally agree with you. Actually, so Mr. Mags, if I could ask you a question, is that okay?
Have at it, brother.
All right. So for you, and obviously we have followed your show, and we are an avid listener to a lot of barbecue podcasts that go out there. Do you have your favorites that are out there right now? And not to throw shade, because one's not better than the other one. We're like, oh, I don't like that one as much or anything else. But is there something out there what do you look for when you're looking for a barbecue podcast or a barbecue show, or any podcast for that matter?
I look for different.
Yeah.
Obviously, I listen to you guys. Once I found you guys have been a must in my listen every week. As we can probably all agree, Greg Rempe at the Barbecue Central show,
100%.
he's the godfather. He talks to everybody.
Yeah.
from the cookers themselves to the manufacturers to the business ends to all of that. So he has his specific style. Obviously our friends Bill Purvis, him and LC have, their style, more of the competition side, because they're out there cooking every week. I like those. Obviously you got to watch those or go back and watch them, because he drops like 5 of the episodes whenever he can, 5 blocks for the audio end. So he's good. Rob Arosha, So Smoking Good, a show, another mutual friend of ours.
Great show.
He's incredible. A lot of the comp, a lot of the Texas based stuff, he throws guys in here and there, but another great guy, always entertaining. Who else do I got introduced to one called the Bite Meat Podcast. John Lopez out of I want to say Houston. He's I want to say he's a sports commentator by profession.
Nice.
And he had a podcast, the Bite Me Podcast, all about fishing. And then but he's always into barbecue. He has a company, OG Sauce. If you've seen it in a couple of
I think
he does a lot with Texas Grill Shop.
Yeah.
And I got turned on to him from Doug Scheiding from Road Cookers Doug was on. And so I've been listening to that. Actually, let me bring the damn list up here. Where the hell is it? There it is. Channel shows. All Things Everything. We're from Gulf Coast Smoke. Barbecue Radio Network is a must on my list. Damn That's Good with Big Salinas.
Salinas Barbecue.
Yeah. Big Salinas Barbecue. That's it. The Tongs, they haven't had one in a while, but Kyle Matiszewski, Phil the Grill, and from when I talked to Kyle earlier this year, they're bringing it back. Him, Phil, and Smitty from Loot and Booty. So I'm just waiting on that. I might have to call and break his balls, tell him to get that going on. But obviously, we all listen to Malcolm Reed. He's a must. Heath Riles, yep. Cue the Mic with Darren Worth. I'm all over the map with them. I just found 2 new ones. Under Seasoned Barbecue Show out of Australia. Very interesting. And then the other one is out of the UK, from The Shack, a barbecue podcast. And they're a little bit of everything, not necessarily strictly barbecue, but they both come from culinary professions. So there's a lot of recipe talk, just interesting. But to answer your question after that little tangent, anything, I'll listen to everything, and like you said, if you catch my attention with it, I give them all a fair shake.
Yeah, right.
And then I pick my ones, and there's a couple out there, and I hate to be the critic, and I hate to sound like this in an asshole. But there's some guys who don't know what the fuck they're talking about. Sorry, Miss Libby, but I mean this one.
Sorry, Miss
and
Libby.
I had called a guy I know that had told me about it. And I'm like, hey, I go, if my radar's off, but do these guys even cook? And he goes, no, your radar's right on. They don't cook.
Yeah.
It's
What'd
like,
you say the name of the show was?
okay. I didn't. I'm not completely stupid,
Yeah.
but it's like, it's, you got to be entertaining.
Yeah.
The guests, like I said, you guys, as far as I'm concerned, are a must, because you hit so many different levels throughout the show on so many topics. Um, and like it's, like Heath, Malcolm, Darren Worth, some of the best in the game, just to check out the little tidbits. Robert Rocha, Bill Purvis, with their style is, from Rob's show, the famous line, "Shut up and listen."
Yeah.
I have
Oh, yeah.
gotten more information from those two shows by just listening to what the people are saying
Yeah.
and getting that, their open book jigging, if you will. They might not give you the whole thing, but they'll give you tidbits. And like my competition sauce, I got from one of Rob's guests,
Yeah.
who is an incredible cooker, has won the Jack before, and always bringing home hardware. And, just learning. I that's what I am. I'm a sponge when it comes to it, because I just want so many. What did I do?
No, I just
Looking
read
at your comment over here,
Daddy
Daddy
Dutch barbecue over here. So is there a minimum requirement for hashtag Jan is a bitch per episode? And I'm like, damn, dude. No, there's no minimum. Are you kidding me?
Hey, there's no
Yeah.
maximum
Yeah.
either.
No, man.
Well, hold on. Daddy Dutch had started a drinking game with my show of every time I said awesome, you had to drink.
Yeah. That's hey.
There's
Let's make a drink
been a
game.
lot of long Tuesdays for him.
I love it. Are you kidding me?
But yeah, all over the place, wherever I can get barbecue content and I can get information that I can use, I'm all about it. I'm all about it, because if you want to, and that's the other thing of knowing what it takes to do a podcast week in, week out, for, as long as we've been doing it. I give everybody respect for giving it a shot, getting into it, because it's not easy. It's not. And
No, I totally agree with you. And it's not, listen, I mean, there's whole new things coming. The world is out there, and you can always grab a news article or something going on. But at the end of the day, when you want to talk about barbecue itself and the evolution of barbecue, it's easy to go back 10 years ago or 15 years ago and look at it then and chronologically come through, which, by the way, I'm not sure if these guys thought I could say that word right now, but I can say that word. Okay. Thank you, Raul. I see your head over here. But listen, that is something that you can do, and you can put it together, right? But for being on the cutting edge of barbecue, that is a forefront of barbecue is looking at what's coming up in barbecue. What are people doing next in barbecue? That is very, very difficult. And a lot of times, if you're not relevant, you're living about 5 years in the past. And I've seen it time and time again. We've had guests on who are talking about things that are really, truthfully, about 2 years old, and they're like, "This is the current thing coming up," and you're like, "Well, no, it's not. Actually, it's something different." And I think for us, we keep looking to other cultures of barbecue, and it's not just here in the United States or here just in Texas, but it's all across the United States, or it's somewhere else in some other country that is coming up with a different style of cooking that we're not privy to, that we're trying to showcase. And it's tough talking about barbecue each week, and each and every week is really, really hard. I mean, like, you can only talk about a brisket so many times or a steak so many times. but I mean, I think it's easy to say that, I guess. But when you get into the nuance of the brisket and get into the nuance of a steak, and it's like, how do you make the perfect steak?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you make the perfect brisket? I don't care how great of a brisket I made last weekend. I can do better. And that is striving for the perfect protein, the perfect brisket, the perfect steak, or anything else that I'm trying to make. And it comes
Kebab.
to the cob. It's the same with
kebab.
It's the same with the mac and cheese. It doesn't matter because it can always be better, right? You can always do something that outdoes it. And I think that's why it becomes more relevant about what you're trying to put out. I know it sounds crazy, but
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
No,
your pulse
right on
it.
the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Chef Jody says about Bill Purvis's, they talk a lot about, had to be there types of stuff. They give you the peek in from a comps cook perspective, the joking, the fooling around and ball busting on the comp between the comp guys and the stories on that side of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Which is another different aspect that you might not see in other ones. But yeah, like I said, you guys it's in my book a must follow, must listen to every week. Catch the video live when you can. It's an enjoyable show. You guys do an incredible job, and there's no end in sight. And my hats off to you boys, and it's been a pleasure getting to know you through the years, and it's been a fantastic, tremendous time talking to you guys face to face this evening. And cheers, man. I appreciate it, boys.
Cheers, brother.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Hey,
sir.
this is a highlight for us. We've not been on a whole lot of shows. So thank you so much for inviting us on. You have one hell of a show, man. Each week you show up, you show out. You've got a lot of followers, and you got friends, right? And I think that's what this community is. We're all friends. I cannot wait to drink beer with you in person. Cheers,
Hell
brother.
yeah, brother. Cheers. And there's Daddy Dutch. Well, I'm gonna put it this way: the way Daddy Dutch is speaking to you guys right now, in the text, you're in with him.
All right, Daddy Dutch. We expect to see you on our show this coming Thursday. In the comments, you got an active comment section here, so we want to see some of these folks.
Oh yeah.
Tonight.
Too bad Texas boys can't make jalapeno papa mac and cheese. Maybe the Cali boy can teach them. Hashtag Jan's a bitch.
Daddy Dutch.
I'll learn him some stuff.
Just listen. Just show up. Just show up. Hey, listen. Let me just give you the best jalapeno popper, the best mac and cheese, and then if you want to say Jan's a bitch after that, bro,
we will.
I love it.
Well,
cheers, Daddy Dutch.
Well, awesome, guys. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, I appreciate you guys taking the time. I wanted to get you guys on for a while, and we finally got it done. And we'll definitely do it again at some point. And
anytime.
Like I said, whenever I make it back down to Texas, we're gonna hook up and we're gonna throw a couple. So, I do have one thing.
Yeah, come on.
And I got shit from John there. Jan, to your left, that John.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that one right there. Right, yeah, that one right there. I got shit for it. There was Larry Vaughn. What's up, brother? You had made a comment about somehow, for some reason, the subject of non-alcoholic beer got brought up on one of your shows.
John.
And you had said, you know what the trick is? To get non-alcoholic sleeves to put on your alcoholic beer and put it in the cooler, and no one will touch your shit. I thought that was genius. And in the chat, that is genius. Jan is a genius, and I caught shit right off the bat for that.
Hey.
It was genius.
I think it is.
Seriously, if you open the cooler, are you going to go for a regular beer, or are you going to go for a non-alcoholic beer?
And nobody's grabbing that.
999 times out of 1,000, you're going for a regular beer.
That's it.
So if yours are camouflaged as non-alcoholic, you're never going to run out of beer unless you drink them all yourself. And any professional never runs out.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, honey, you had like 10 non-alcoholic beers and you're falling over. Is everything okay?
Yeah, right. Hey, I'm just tired. I had a long day at work. Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah,
I've been cooking this brisket for 14 hours. I'm tired.
Right. So sleepy.
Eastwind Farms, what's up, Chris? Tim Rogers, you guys need to have hashtag Jan's a bitch t-shirts or stickers.
And we've talked about it before.
We'll do it.
Tim, listen, help us come up with the logo, and you got it. All right. We need some feedback.
Yeah.
We need this.
But boys,
logo, and we put it out there, and next thing you know, we got some letters in saying we were trademark infringement for our 90-second beer reviews. So we just kind of stopped, right? So yeah, help us out, man. We got you.
Absolutely. But guys, thank you so much. This has been an absolute blast. Like I said, I've been looking forward to it all week, all day. Yeah, like I said, can't wait to meet you guys. If you guys ever find yourself up in the New England and New Hampshire area, your asses better give me a call. And if you're bored this summer, starting the third week in June, there's a Champions Barbecue Alliance Triple Crown. There is probably equipment that can be found.
Let's go.
Just saying. Vermont and Rhode Island, back-to-back weekends. New Hampshire, last weekend in July. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go, man. We could do that. We should do that. It's a great idea.
It's 130 in Texas, it's only going to be 90 here.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know, it's just
free.
Yeah. It was 86 here today. Hey, what's the temperature there?
We were in the low 70s. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Okay. Yeah.
It was absolutely gorgeous for our time of year.
So we were blue skies and 86 with the high, but still we had a light cool air coming in. It was nice. Great day.
Absolutely great. Fantastic. But yeah,
cheers. Cheers, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for having us on your show. Everybody,
my pleasure, boys.
Till the next one.
Hey, this guy is an awesome freaking host. Let's go, Johnny Mags.
Thank you, boys. Thank you. And guys, make sure you tune in Thursday night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, YouTube, Facebook, to grab them in the Brisket, a Texas barbecue podcast. Watch the show live. All your social medias, grab them in the Brisket.
Yep, grab them in the Brisket. Yep.
You'll find them all. Always, they are content monsters, which I need to take some lessons to them because my social media content sucks. I'm terrible at it. But you guys do a fantastic job, and my hat's off to you. Absolutely. But thank you again, guys. I really appreciate it. Let me close this out. I'll jump right back in, then we'll get you guys off and running.
That's good.
Oh, well, guys, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Like I said, I was looking forward to talking to the boys for quite some time and finally got it in. Next week, tentatively, our rescheduling of Malcolm Reed. So I'm just waiting to hear back from Tyler for full confirmation. But next week, let's plan on Malcolm Reed. We'll get into everything he's got going on. And on a personal note, I just want to thank all of you, all of you who tuned in tonight. Any of you guys who are going to catch it later, listen to the audio. Thank you so much for reaching out. Probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Wishes for me and my family. For those who don't know, Thursday morning we lost my barbecue buddy Mac, my wife's boy, and the kid's brother. And let's see, there he is right there. Come on, there you go, bud. Unfortunately, we lost him, and yeah, saying we've been a little fucked up is on the putting it nicely side. But just wanted to thank you all who text, call, emailed, smoke signaled, your thoughts and prayers for us and our boy Mac. So thank you all for that from the bottom of my heart. And yeah, that's what this is about. And you guys cared enough to, and a bunch of you have met Mac, so you knew what he was. He was the meanest goddamn meanest looking cupcake on the planet. He'd walk by the fireplace, see himself in the mirror, and piss the floor because he scared himself. That's the type of dog we were coming to. But he was always there by the grill of the pit with me. And you're going to be missed, buddy. You're going to be missed. And I will see you, my friend, on the other side. But thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you next week. And until then, keep the smoke rolling.